Welcome to the SpidX channel. Today, we're doing a comparison review of the authenticity of the Royal Oak Series 15202 ST watch. This is a 39mm steel watch produced in 2012 and discontinued in 2022, which many watch enthusiasts are quite familiar with. In fact, there have been several toy versions of this watch reviewed before, such as the ZF and XF models. In this video, this watch represents its ultimate version, featuring the original movement, dial, and hands paired with a custom CNC case and strap. Additionally, we've prepared a fully custom substitute dial that is quite top-notch in the market. So today, through this review, I want to share the subtle differences between the original parts and the top-tier parts currently available on the market. For more information, you can follow the Debaisi channel and engage in deeper discussions in the comments section. Let's first take a look at the overall visual differences between the original dial and the custom dial. Although the original is refined, the custom dial lacks that refinement, leading to some subtle differences in texture. However, when we look at the colors, they are actually very close. Including the size and thickness of the markers, there aren't any particularly obvious differences. This also indicates that the current custom dials have truly reached a very high standard. We'll look at the overall color variations and texture presentation from different angles. Through the glass, the original sunburst pattern becomes more pronounced, while the custom dial lacks a distinct sunburst pattern if we look at it from a certain angle. Under clear lighting, the entire dial's protective features are quite evident, but the lack of a glass surface does diminish some of that effect. So at first glance, the colors of the two dials are actually very close. They are deeper and have more layered variations compared to those ZF or XF dials on the market. If we place the dials like this, through the glass, we can feel that the top-tier hard disk and the original hard disk are actually very close. However, the original hard disk has a slight hint of green in the blue, and it resembles a lake, with varying depths that create a very delicate transition between light and dark. With the custom dial, that feeling is a bit weaker. If viewed this way, the colors of the two dials are really hard to distinguish. But the differences still exist. I've attached two pictures on the screen for everyone to take a closer look. First of all, the details of the original genuine dial feature a small checkered pattern, where the base is arranged in dot-like lines. Additionally, at the corners of the diamond pattern, it presents a more rounded feel. In contrast, the top-tier hard dial features more lines, with thin lines that are connected, lacking that dotted arrangement feel. Additionally, the small checkered pattern has relatively defined edges at the top. Now, let's take a close-up dynamic look at the texture of the original authentic dial. It consists of lines arranged in an arc shape at the bottom. What about the small square checkered pattern? It has a slanted, three-dimensional fullness and roundness, almost like a square box covered with a layer of fabric. The original brushing, after being printed with the diamond pattern, doesn't show much variation in height. It's relatively flat. It's clear and comfortable. This is our substitute card. As for the font, the edges, especially at the shoulders and tails, have a slightly rough feel. However, the overall thickness and three-dimensionality are still very good. Regarding the adjustment scale, we can also take a look at the original version. Whether viewed from the front or the side, it is polished to be extremely smooth and rounded. There are no sharp edges. The filling in the areas is sunken, and the edges are rounded and raised. Let's see the quality of the substitute dial. It's really difficult to distinguish between the real and fake by the conditions. Let's examine the texture and effect of the movement. This is the original 21,211 movement. The brushed texture on the automatic rotor is very prominent, with noticeable variations in light, both coarse and fine. The English text on the gold details is clear, full, three-dimensional, and has rounded edges. There is a very beautiful square checkered pattern, and the overall details are truly exquisite. The no-play movement, including the engravings, can be seen very clearly. The gears at the 3 o'clock position have an extremely delicate brushed texture, and the engagement between the gears is very precise. Every other component is genuinely movable, as this is indeed the original 2121 movement. To help everyone understand more intuitively, we'll show it from the same angle. I have made a visual comparison between the original 211 model and the current integrated version of the 211 movement, which I have also displayed on the screen for everyone to take a closer look. In every aspect, from structure to form, such as the play and the texture of the gears. There are clear differences. Many times we really don't know until we compare, and the differences can be shocking. The so-called integrated version pales in comparison to the original. Through comparison, we can clearly see the differences. Finally, let me talk about the information table. The information is a very high-precision machining process that can achieve a high degree of restoration based on the original data, allowing the original movement and other components to fit very well within the entire table. Currently, besides this CNC case on the market, some people use toy versions like ZF or XF to rework and modify them, then install genuine movement components. However, they can also fit in with hard installation. This can easily cause various issues such as the hands sweeping the dial or the crystal, or even movement failures. If you are willing to spend tens of thousands of dollars on such a genuine movement modification, then don't skimp on that money. Do not use toy versions like ZF or XF to directly install genuine movement components, as it will really be troublesome in the long run, and may even lead to your movement may encounter irreparable issues. Good craftsmanship can more effectively allow everyone to experience the genuine wearing feel during use, whether it's the thickness of the case or the brushed finish. Any variation in the chamfer's thickness is strictly implemented according to the original standards. Common issues with cases like those seen with ABY can be effectively alleviated through CNC craftsmanship. The engraving inside the clasp, the matte texture, and the brushed patterns are all very comfortable. The screws on the outer ring will be made the same as the original, presenting a slightly sunken effect below the outer ring rather than above it, including the engravings and numbers on the case back, along with all these small details. We will ensure everything is done properly. Finally, let's take a look at the luminous effect. The original luminous effect, when viewed this way, seems less intense than the luminous effect of the dial alone, because there is a layer of mirror separating them, while the original has a bare dial, so the effect of the dial alone appears stronger. However, after actual assembly, there really is no difference between the two, so everyone can rest assured. Through this comparison, we can actually find that money is really easy to spend. A custom dial costs a few thousand, while the genuine dial is priced over 40,000, which is a difference of tens of thousands. Whether it's worth it, everyone should feel for themselves and consider the current secondary market prices. It's really not a small difference. But still, as I said, if you think it's worth it, then consider it. If you feel that spending this money on an assembled watch means there's something wrong with your thinking, then this video is truly a waste of your time. If you think this configuration saves you a lot of money, feel free to engage with me more in the comments. See you next time.